Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Welcome to Language Lab 1 to the respectful lecturers and dedicated presenters. Before we begin the session, allow me to first introduce our distinguished judges. Our first assessor is the esteemed Dr. Hajah Zainab binti Abdul Rahman, and our second assessor is the Honorable Puan Nurliza binti Abdul Razak. Each presenter will be given 15 minutes to present their research. The first bell will ring on the last 5 minutes and the second bell will ring 2 times to indicate that the time is up. Now, without further delay, let's begin with our first presenter, Abdul Rahim bin Yahya, who will be sharing his research on examining the impact of ChatGPT on academic performance among PISMP 21-25 TESOL students at IPGM KDRI. Please give a warm welcome to Abdul Rahim.
Okay, thank you for the MC. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon a bit to the beloved panelists and also fellow audiences. Today, I, Abdul Rahim bin Yahya, from class TESOL 1, PISMP August 21-25 intake, will be presenting my research titled Examining the Impact of ChatGPT on Academic Performance among PISMP 21-25 TESOL students at IPGM KDRI. Okay, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, in recent years, AI, artificial intelligence, has significantly changed the landscape of multiple sectors. It is including education. The most noticeable AI development is ChatGPT, an open conventional model developed by OpenAI. In education, ChatGPT has become synonymous with educators and students as it helps in expanding learning experiences by providing real-time output and also personalized feedback. However, despite the increased use of ChatGPT in education, it has limited research on how ChatGPT exactly impact in terms of academic performance. Thus, this research focuses on how ChatGPT impacts academic performance among PISMP 21-25 TESOL students. Okay, so for the problem statement, although ChatGPT has been a very popular tool used by various educators and students, there is limited empirical research on its effect on academic performance. A study conducted in 2023 by Cotton et al. He stated in his study the major concern for educators on ChatGPT is that the students will most likely to stop writing their assignments on their own or writing their in their writing. Thus there are concerns over their accomplishments in academic performance. It is not pure if they only refer to ChatGPT alone. So, this lack of research specifically address the impact of Malaysian higher education institutions, particularly among TESOL students. Okay, next. So, the purpose of this study is to examine the potential relationship between ChatGPT usage and academic performance among PISMP 21-25 TESOL students. And specifically, I aim to investigate how perceived usefulness, ease of use, and actual usage of ChatGPT affect the academic outcomes of the students. Okay, also these are the research objectives, which there are 2. First is to examine the potential relationship between ChatGPT usage and academic performance. And the second one is to investigate how perceived usefulness and ease of use influence students' adoption of ChatGPT. And for the research questions, this study have two research questions. The first one, does ChatGPT provide advantages in education for TELLTraC students? And number two, how does ChatGPT usage impact the academic performance of PISMP 2021-2025 TELLTraC students? Okay, so the significance of my research is this study will contribute to the new insights into AI integration in Malaysian education. Since there are less research on this topic in context of Malaysia, and it provides valuable data for, especially for educators and policymakers, so they can see how AI tools like ChatGPT can be effectively used and integrated in teaching to enhance learning outcomes. Okay. And then related past researches, I have two. The first one is a study by Holmes in 2019. He stated that in his studies have shown that AI tools can improve student engagement and also problem-solving abilities. And another study, however, specified that by Jones and Clark, however, in their studies said that specific research on ChatGPT effect on academic performance remains limited throughout the context. And the latest that I found research is one research in Moroccan University, which is the very latest by Abdullah Kanan in 2024, in July 2024. Okay. So my research design is a quantitative approach, and I use questionnaire. So the questionnaire is divided into 4 sections, which I will be explained further in the slides. Okay, so for population and sample, my population is 58 TELLTraC students enrolled in the PISMP, formerly June 2021-25 of IPGM KDRI. And for the sample size, I select 52 students using the Craigie and Morgan table. But according to the table, the closest value to 58 is 60. Because in the table there's no 58 value. So I chose 60 so that I can take 52 students for my sample. Okay, so and next, the instruments used for data collection. Structured questionnaire with 4 sections, which were demographic information, perceived usefulness and ease of use, actual usage patterns, and also perceived impact on academic performance. The questions here is being adopted from previous studies using the TAM model, Technology Acceptance Model. Okay. Next. Okay, so the procedures, the questionnaire was distributed online via WhatsApp so that the participants can easily access to it. And then before they answer the survey, they were informed about the confidentiality and anonymity procedures. So their identity will remain private, remain confidential, solely for this research. Okay, and then when the data was collected through Google Form, with a total of 52 responses were received from PISMP 21-25 TELLTraC students of IPGM KDRI. So based on all of the respondents of the data will be analyzed by using descriptive analysis and also inferential analysis in terms of correlation and regression. Okay, next. Okay, so the data analysis procedure. So for descriptive statistics, I use JAMOVI to summarize the respondents' perception on ChatGPT usage. And inferential statistics, which the correlation and regression, were applied to examine relationships between variables such as perceived usefulness, ease of use, actual usage, and also academic performance. So based on my findings, the descriptive analysis shows that students have generally positive perceptions of ChatGPT's usefulness, with the mean being 4.15 and the ease of use with the mean being 4.08. Also, according to the inferential analysis, the correlation and regression, it shows there are strong correlation was found between actual usage and perceived academic performance, which is the value of 0.69. Okay, so based on what I have found in this study, so the findings suggest that ChatGPT positively impacts student learning outcomes. This is because the students tends to use the ChatGPT in to look for difficult questions, and also when they're doing some complex tasks or assignments. And another one is students see that ChatGPT was easy to use and easily accessible to everyone. There's no need to create an account, and it is completely free. And the actual usage was identified as the strongest predictor of perceived academic performance, which is the value of 0.527. So here it shows that the higher the usage of ChatGPT, the higher is the perceived academic performance of the students. However, we must bear in mind that there are concerns about over-reliance on ChatGPT, as stated by Miller in his studies in 2018. Students tend to become over-rely on the AI technology, so it will affect their development of critical thinking skills and problem solving. So here, if the educator must find a balance between the usage of AI and also the traditional method of doing the assignments and everything. Okay, so the next one. Okay, so for the conclusion, the findings of this study indicates that ChatGPT is perceived as highly useful and easy to use by the majority of the students, as mentioned from the data findings before this. And then ChatGPT positively influences academic performance when integrated effectively in students' daily routine of learning. And also, the study finds that we need to aware the potential risk of over-reliance since AI technologies is constantly being integrated into the education settings. Okay. So the implications, the findings of this study have several implications. The first one is to educators. The educators should integrate AI tools with careful oversight, because over time, everyone needs to be familiar with using AI technologies, such as here ChatGPT. So the educators must strike a balance between leveraging AI tools such as ChatGPT and also human oversight, so that the students have balanced relationship in learning experiences. And then second one is for future teachers. For future teachers, they need training is more than what they are currently doing now, meaning they're not just using the traditional methods, but also the AI-based method as well. This will transform future teachers from traditional teachers into more of a facilitators of AI technology in the classroom. So this will help in providing the students more more learning experience and uh, more informations. And the last one is for at the institutional level. So equitable access to all to AI tools is essential to avoid learning disparities. If in one of the institution does not provide the equal access to everyone, so there will be a huge gap between which students that use ChatGPT and those who do not use it. So the academic performance there will have doubts. Okay, so after all of my findings in my research, the recommendations and suggestions I have for future references for this topic is first, the possible of doing a longitudinal study. It is to assess the long-term effects of ChatGPT on students. This could be monitoring students over the periods of semesters and see how the constant use of ChatGPT given effects in their academic performance. And the second one is incorporating more larger sample size and also include participants from various institutions. So for the researcher to know even deeper how the students, participants use ChatGPT in their daily life while they study. And the last but not least is also can include qualitative methods such as interviews, or targeted groups, so that the focus on ChatGPT would provide more deeper insights into students' experience with it. So with that, thank you. I'm happy to address any questions that the panelists may have regarding my research or its findings.
Thank you, Abdul Rahim, for your insightful presentation. Now, I would like to invite any panels for the Q&A session.
Thank you. Okay, congratulations, Rahim.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have one question for you.
Okay, yes.
Can you describe your pilot study?
Okay. So for my pilot study, I chose 10 participants outside of IPGM KDRI, but this is under the suggestion that I find on my previous researches, since I still in the context of TESOL students, just with different IPG. So when I take them as my pilot study, I did not ran too much from my targeted groups. Okay.
I don't want to know. My voice is loud enough.
Did I answer your question, Doctor? Or
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 PT usage. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so based on why the maybe look different, but in reality, when my study when my study finds the potential relationship between ChatGPT usage and academic performance, when I got that result, I can see how it uh, provides advantages in education because I will look at the results of the students responses. So if let's say the findings is low, so meaning there's not there is no advantages if ChatGPT is integrated into learning. But then I found after all the analysis, the result is positive, which is high. So that shows advantage in that shows the advantage in education for the students. So it's based on the results, the analytical.
Research objective verification of a tool.
Okay.
The relation.
Mm-hmm.
To investigate how perceived usefulness and ease of use influence students' adaptations of ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Then your research question: how does ChatGPT usage impact the academic performance? Okay. So
Okay.
test the validity of the impact. You need to have the pre and the post.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
So, I don't see the. It's underlying. I think partly both the questions and the objectives.
What Madam Riza is saying is,
Mm-hmm.
when you write your research objectives and research
Okay.
questions,
Uh-huh.
they should be the same. They should be
Your research objective
Mhm.
should answer your research questions.
Mm-hmm. In my okay.
Example, research, you please show the apa? Research slide, the research objective and the research questions.
Back. Lagi.
Okay. Kalau you have the research questions with does ChatGPT provide advantages?
Mm-hmm.
So in your research objective,
Mm-hmm.
kan, you buatlah to examine the advantages, kan, of the ChatGPT. And then kalau research question is second one, how does usage impact?
Mm-hmm.
So you jawab dalam research objective you, the impact of, kan, tapi kat sini
You check objektif.
objective.
so you just state that.
Oh, relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So your research of the questions you ambil dari itu, kan? You understand?
Yes.
Usefulness and ease.
Yes.
Sebab ibu ambil impact kat situ bawah. Dalam question impact, awak impact
Mhm.
dalam question so objective to investigate the impact of the student je lah.
Mm-hmm.
Kan aku nampak jawapan ni kan. Kalau yang ni the impact in terms of the usefulness and ease
Mm-hmm.
lah. Kan?
Just
It's just
objektif.
research questions dan research.
Okay. I think I understood. I think I have misunderstood in terms of in my writing. In my writing, I think I did what Madam and Doctor already mentioned, but maybe because of this, the objective and the question look not tally with each other. So so but,
Just
mm-hmm.
Impact tu you remember sama
Mhm.
soalan impact you pernah ada pre and post.
Mm-hmm.
You can see
Okay.
result. Pre, impact and now. Impact lah kan?
Mhm.
Sebelum apa ni, selepas
Ke sana.
apa. Dia
Okay.
mesti ada difference. Okay, kalau tidak tu disebut.
Okay. Okay, understand. Okay. Thank you.
Last one.
Okay.
I think
Madam.
you need to change the word in your title.
Uh-huh.
It should be examining the impact of ChatGPT on academic performance of the scientist
Of.
professor students,
Hmm.
not
Okay.
among. Yeah? Academic performance of.
Okay. Okay, I see. Okay. Thank you to panelists Dr. Zainab and Madam Liza. Okay. Okay. So that is all from my presentation. Thank you everyone.
Thank Thank you, Abdul Rahim, for your insightful presentation. Now, moving on to our next presenter, Aiman Hakimi bin Muhammad Azman, who will present his research on exploring IPGM KDRI teacher trainees perception and practices on the use of flashcard to improve pupils' vocabulary retention. Let's welcome Aiman Hakimi.
Tak tepuk.
Yang pelik ke tak payah pelik.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening. I bid to panelists and also the fellow audience. I'm standing here to present my study, my research entitled Exploring IPGM KDRI PISMP Teacher Trainees Perceptions and Practice on the Use of Flashcard to Improve Pupils' Vocabulary Retention. Again, my name is Aiman Hakimi bin Muhammad Azman, and I am the supervisee of Madam Nur Hayati binti Muhammad Yusuf. Now, let's look at the background of the study. According to Ermawati et al. 2021, students need to learn vocabulary and grammar together to become fluent in the language. Now, let's start with the beginning. From my observation during my previous practicum, I noticed a lot of pupils tend to forget their vocabulary easily after just days and weeks. So, according to Abbasian and Gorbanpour 2016, a weak understanding of English vocabulary can make it difficult to communicate effectively in English. So, according to this quotation, the pupils might having the problem to communicate among themselves or with the teachers using English language. And lastly, as stated by Hamira and Rohima Jayab 2018, flashcards can enhance vocabulary learning by making it more fun and interesting. Okay, next. Now, for problem statement, young learners, particularly those between the ages of 7 and 12, which is in the perspective of primary school, year 1 to year 6, often face challenges in vocabulary acquisition. This is according to Yunus et al. 2020. And next, limited vocabulary creates barriers to learning, making it hard for students to engage with English and improve studies by Al-Qahtani 2015. As I mentioned before, the pupils in the school, as I noticed, they struggle to communicate effectively in English, not even effectively to communicate in English in the class. And the last one, by Karya Ningsih et al. 2023, she suggests that teaching English to young learners should be fun and engaging, especially for vocabulary memorization. Now, if the pupils tend to forget vocabulary over and over, they wouldn't be so fun, wouldn't be so engaged to participate in the class. All right. The first research objective is to investigate teacher trainees' perception regarding the use of flashcards for vocabulary retention. Now, the word investigate might sound familiar with quantitative research, but for this study, I use qualitative. And the next one is to explore teacher trainees' practice of using flashcards towards pupils' vocabulary retention. Okay, next. And for research questions, the first one is, what are the teacher trainees' perception regarding the use of flashcards for vocabulary retention? And the next one is, what are the teacher trainees' practice of using flashcards towards pupils' vocabulary retention. You can see the link between RQ and also research question and also research previous research objective. Okay. Next. Okay, now let's look at the research significance. So, if this study is proven effective and beneficial, it will give impact. The first is for the educators. Educators here means the teacher who are already teaching in the primary school, or even the teacher trainees who are going to be teaching in primary schools in the next few years. So the flashcards can create interactive vocabulary lessons. So this is depend on educators' creativity. Again, if this study is proven, the educators can use their own creativity to create interactive vocabulary lessons such as games or pair word activity and more. Sorry. Next one is for lecturers. I mean for ESL learners first. ESL learners can enjoy the use of flashcards to wait a second. Okay. For ESL learner, they can, if this proven, they can enjoy, because as stated by the academic scholar before, the use of flashcards are enjoy and and fun. Okay. So along the process, they can improve their vocabulary retention. And the last one for lecturers. Now the lecturers can recommend the lecturers can recommend the use of flashcards to the teacher trainees, especially for the teacher trainees who are going to sit for their practicum. Next. Okay, so the related theories for my study is by Alan Pavio, dual coding theory. The origin is 1971, but there are a lot of revised from a lot of academic scholars, which I put it in my writing. So, according to Bates 2018, based on Pavio's dual coding theory, visuals can support the learning of foreign language vocabulary. Basically, DCT is all about the mind processing information through two distinct channels, which is images and words. So, the use of flashcards is actually flexible. They can incorporate only image or even images with the words. Okay, next. So here are the related past research that I found. There are a total of 6 of past research. 5 of them are from Indonesia, and from Lee and Wong 2023 is from Vietnam. So if we see at the title of each research, it leads to same conclusion, same purpose of my study, which is to investigate the use of flashcards to improve vocabulary, whether it is a vocabulary acquisition or vocabulary retention. Next. Okay, so here is the conceptual framework. I want to gain the practice and perception of IPGM KDRI teacher trainees from the use of flashcards to improve vocabulary retention. So here, the practice and perception from the use of flashcards of the teacher trainees is considered as independent variable, whereby vocabulary retention is dependent variable. Next. So for research design, I apply qualitative research to to conduct my study, and the population is 50, the total of 58 teacher trainees, but the sample is only 3. Why 3? Because I select it the odd number, because if I use even number, they wouldn't come up with a conclusion. Meaning that if 2 persons agree, 1 agree, then I can gain a conclusion. But 2 persons agree, 2 persons disagree, it will take a lot of process to identify. And for sampling, I use purposive because my participants are all experienced in the first practicum, and they are also using flashcards in their lessons to improve their pupils' vocabulary. And for the instrument, I use semi-structured interview and also document analysis. For document analysis, I ask for the participants' lesson plan. And for analyzing the data, I use thematic analysis. Okay, so here is the procedures for data collection. The first one is gaining experts validation. After searching and filtering for interview protocols and questions, which is adapted by the researchers, I filter which questions that suits with my title, and after that I seek for experts validation, and then my interview protocols are being revised again and reduced because the numbers are quite high. And the next is gaining participants' consent. I informed the participant weeks before the actual interview for them to prepare and for them to give me the lesson plan. And the last one is conducting the interviews. And these interviews are conducted via Google Meet, and they are being recorded, and I have gained their permission to record the Google Meet. Next. And for that data analysis procedures, after I've collecting and record all of the participants, it leads me to transcribe the overall of the interview. I used Google Meet Auto Transcribe for transcribing the interview, but with manually revised by myself because sometimes the transcribing is inaccurate. And the next one, I code the transcription into several themes, which leads and which will answer my RQ, the first RQ, and also the second research question. And the last one is analyzing the theme. And after I've identified and code into several themes, I analyze the theme and making a conclusion that the use of flashcards are actually beneficial for the pupils in terms of vocabulary retention. So here is the data findings which I gained from the interview. Now, the first theme, engagement and interaction, will answer the first research question, which is what are the teacher trainees' perception regarding the use of flashcard to improve vocabulary retention. And the other two themes, which is quality of flashcards and also flexibility of flashcards, it doesn't answer any of RQ directly, but it implicitly answering and assist for my overview of the title. Okay, next. So, based on research, the first research question, what are teacher trainees' perception regarding the use of flashcards for vocabulary retention? The first theme that I found out is the effectiveness of flashcards use. This is the quotation from participant A. He said it helps a lot in pupils retention. They can learn quite well. And participant B said that it helps. It means the use of flashcards helps them to remember easily. And the last participant said that it depends on the pupil. Some of them, they are visual learners. So the two participants directly agree with the effectiveness, and for participant C, I assume that it is effective, especially for visual learners. But for other type of learners, it may be effective, it may be not. And for the second theme, impact to vocabulary retention. Participant A said that the pupils can retain the vocabulary really well. And participant B said that if the image shows something inaccurate, it could confuse pupils, meaning that if the teachers use an inaccurate image, they can lead to giving negative impact for their vocabulary retention. And the last one, participant C, said that the use of flashcards is very good to improve their vocab over time. Next. And for the second research question, what are teacher trainees' practice of using flashcards towards pupils' vocabulary retention? The two participants fully agreed that flashcard can improve their vocabulary retention by participant B said that if the flashcard is shown with the words, they can comprehend the words and their meanings. And participant C plus that if too many words, they will become too much entering their brain. Of course, this is grammatically incorrect, but I transcribe it directly from them. Okay, next. Okay, so for conclusion, the flashcards is considered as a valuable teaching tool. The three participants recognize the use of flashcards to be highly effective during the lesson. And the next one is this study is aligned with a lot of educational research, such as from Janudom and Wasanosomicity 2009. He said that flashcard exercise can improve students' ability to acquire and retain vocabulary more effectively. This is also supported by Hammer and Rohimajaya 2018, which stated that the use of flashcard as a learning tool has assisted students in easily memorizing language. Also, it led to the conclusion that flashcards can enhance participation or engagement. One of the quotation from participant C, he said that, and it also encourages their active participation in class. Next. And for the implication, it will give impact for educators, pupils, and also lecturers. For educators, in terms of creating various kind of activity that incorporate flashcard in the lesson. And for the pupils, if the educators regularly using flashcards, they will lead the pupils to self-directed practice, because the use of flashcards is actually so simple. It is not like the other games, other software games. It is just the use of physical flashcard, which they can use in both outside of classroom and inside of the classroom. And lastly, for lecturers, if the flashcards give the positive impact for the pupils, the lecturers should recognize the importance of flashcards and emphasize it to the teacher trainee. And for recommendation, IPGM, which is the stakeholder, they should incorporating flashcards into the training curriculum, maybe not directly, but implicitly. And for future studies, because I found out that there are scarce amount of studies for using flashcards to improve vocabulary retention in Malaysia. As you can see in the past research, they are all from Indonesia and one from Vietnam. So maybe the future research can apply in the local context and for longer period, and also the use of flashcard in diverse educational settings, such as in mixed ability classroom. So that is the recommendation for future studies. Next. Okay, I open the session for Q&A.
Sorry. Thank you, Aiman, for the excellent presentation. Now I would like to invite the panels for the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you, Evan.
You're welcome.
And congratulations. Good presentation. Okay, this is a qualitative research.
Yes.
Okay, my question is, how are you going to generalize your findings if you have only 3 participants?
Okay. Can you repeat the question?
How are you going to generalize your findings if there are only 3 participants?
Okay. So for my study, luckily they all agree that the use of flashcard is effective and beneficial. But let's say if 2 of them disagree, 1 agree, then I may come up with the conclusion that the use of flashcards is ineffective. But if 2 of them agree and 1 disagree, maybe for this research, I can conclude that majority of teacher trainee see that the use of flashcards is beneficial. But the 3 of them, of course, doesn't cater to all other teacher trainees. That's why I put it in my limitation, which is the amount number. Maybe the 3 of teacher trainees does not represent anybody, any teacher trainees in terms of the use of flashcards. Okay.
So you think that 3 is enough?
I think 3 is enough.
I don't think so.
All right, thank you.
And one more thing, the title is exploring.
Exploring.
When you are exploring, doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative.
Okay.
Because you are exploring, you want to see different opinions. It doesn't mean that everyone has to agree.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Because you just want to explore. This is qualitative. Qualitative is exploring. We don't want the number. We don't want the one conclusion. You can just explore. They say this, why they say this, and why they say this, yeah? Because you want just to explore.
Okay.
And maybe 3, I think, is
Not enough.
enough to
Okay.
something that I wanted to change just now. Okay, your research objective, okay? Research objective. Maybe you change this word, Aiman, to explore teacher trainees' practices of using flashcards for pupils' vocabulary retention, not to words.
For
Just change the word to words. Okay, thank you, Madam Nolita.
all right. Okay. So that's it from me. Thank you. Aku terlalu dah main ni batuk lagi.
Up next, we have Ainul Mardia binti Aziz, who will present her research on perception of TikTok as an educational tool towards academic performance among TESOL teacher trainees. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Ainul Mardia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening to everyone. My name is Ainul Mardia binti Aziz. I'm from Unit TESOL 1 and my supervisor is Dr. Muhammad Jalani bin Hassan. So my research title is Perception of TikTok as an Educational Tool Toward Academic Performance among TESOL teacher trainees. So the background of the study is I realized with the widespread social media usage in Malaysia, which are majority of active TikTok users being in between the age of 18 to 34. This is according to Cam in his research in 2024. And then TikTok's popularity and its role in education. As we know, TikTok with over 5.3 billion users worldwide makes it increasingly used in education, especially in Malaysia with the platform of Ministry of Education such as the Edufluencer made specially for education in our nation. The next background of study will touch on the conflicting perspective of TikTok impact or the perspective towards what they think of TikTok. So the first research from Amin 2022, we have that TikTok negatively affect academic performance due to its addictive nature. Versus the second research that opposed Amin's research, which embodies positive feedback on academic performance in the process of acquiring language. So we can see the differences of perception in using TikTok in our education. Next. So the problem statement, I quote one from Shadif and Young 2020, who says learners do not fully engage with technology in learning, sometimes feeling overwhelmed by excessive information. As we know, TikTok have the short duration based video, and with that 60 seconds, we will have to see and to digest many information at once, that making the feeling of learning become more overwhelming. And then the next problem statement can be seen through Yan et al. In 2022 and also Survey 2021, saying that simple content of TikTok potentially make learning more accessible. However, it is often linked to shortened attention span because of the short video content in TikTok itself. The next is research offers mixed findings, which is TikTok supports language learning versus the potential risk like addiction of the TikTok itself, mentioned by Amin et al. In 2022. And the last one, problem statement can be seen through the research of Hill in 2024, stating that existing research on TikTok and educational tool does not specifically on TESOL teacher trainees. Therefore, I come here to show you the result of my finding using the population and sample of TESOL teacher trainee here in IPG KDRI. Next. So my research objective, I have three. The first one is to identify three main factors of why teacher trainee use TikTok as an educational tool. And the second research objective is to identify the perception of TikTok as an educational tools toward academic performance among TESOL teacher trainees in IPG KDRI. And the last one, to identify any significant differences in perception of TikTok as an educational tool towards academic performance between male and female teacher trainees. Therefore, it aligns with my research question. So my first research question is, what are the three main factors of why teacher uses TikTok as an educational tool? And the second one is what is the perception of TikTok as an educational tool towards academic performance among TESOL teacher trainees in IPG KDRI? And my last research question is there any significant differences in perception of TikTok as an educational tool towards academic performance between male and female teacher trainees here in IPG KDRI? So I imply the null hypothesis, which is there is no significant difference between male and female teacher trainees in perception of TikTok as an educational tool towards their academic performance. Next. My research is applying two theories. The first one is technology acceptance model by Fred Davis in the year of 1989, which mentioning two main elements. The first one is perceived usefulness is how the application or the technology benefits the users. And then the second one is the perceived ease of use, which is how easy the technology will be integrated in our work to help the education. So because of this factor, it will lead to the changes of human in terms of behavioral intention to use. So when they detect any PEOU or PU in the technology that they want to implement, such as TikTok, when they find it easy and useful, they will have the intention to use the TikTok. And then it will drag them to actually use the technology in their life. And then the second theory that I embed in this research is the effective filter hypothesis theory, where the effective filter can be said with the effect of level of anxiety, motivation, and also it will lead to different level of engagement and performance of the students. For example, if we have high effective filter, we will have high anxiety level and also low motivation, which makes the engagement and performance can be lower down. Next. So, based on my research significance, I will, this research is significant to see the application of digital development among curriculum developer, and the next one is to promote implementation of TikTok's educational content among educators and also learners. Next. So these are related past research. We have the first one, Imaikop and Clement from Nigeria in the year of 2023. Flores et al. In 2024 from Philippines, and also Cinco et al. From Philippines from the year of 2020. We can see the sample here is mass student communication, grade 10 student, high school students. So we can see as the different sample is used, I think it is necessary for us to conduct research here to see the perception in TESOL teacher trainees here. And then the focus, we can see the impact of TikTok, and then the influence and also the use of TikTok, which comes under one keyword, which is the perception that they hold upon using TikTok as an educational tool. And then the finding here, we can see it is kind of opposed with each other. For example, we have Imaikop. She said TikTok had a negative impact on students' exam result. Meanwhile, Flores said that TikTok positively influenced the students' mental health, creativity, and even improving academic performance of the students. And then the last one, Cinco 2020 said that TikTok helped to improve in students' understanding of science. So here we can see the contradiction that happened between past research via only one application, which is TikTok. So we are here to identify whether what the perception holds by trainee teachers in IPG KDRI towards TikTok as an educational tool. Next. As my research design, I use quantitative research design in the shape of survey. So I use descriptive analysis and also inferential analysis to analyze my data. So my population and sample, my population consists of 57 pupils from PISMP TESOL intake August 2021-2025, which is my batch. And then the sample is in the number of 52 respondents from my population. Next. For my instrument, I use the questionnaire of 5 Likert scale, using the adapted questionnaires from 3 different research from Alvarez from 2023 with the impact of TikTok application on second language acquisition of grade 10 student. Conde in 2023, micro-learning through TikTok in higher education and evaluation of users and potential. And also Rashid 2023, examining TikTok as a source of English language content, perceived impact on student competences. And then the questionnaire, I link it in a form of Google form, and then I distribute it using the application of WhatsApp. And then the instrument consists of 4 sections. The first section is the demographic background of the students. The second section, which is section B, this covers the factors of using TikTok, which relies on the first research question. And then the the third and the fourth one is the perceived attitudes of using TikTok and perceived effectiveness of using TikTok. So this is the data collection procedure. The first one, the selection of questionnaire has been done. And then I adapted the questionnaire according to the suitability of my title and my research. And then the third one, I get the validation and permission from supervisor and Jabatan Perancangan Penyelidikan dan Inovasi JPPI to further my research. And then the next one, I do the pilot study to test reliability of instruments with the PISMP 2023-2027. And then after testing the reliability of the questionnaire, I then distribute the questionnaire via WhatsApp to my samples. And then the last one is I analyze the data using the software of Jamovi. Next. This is my data analysis procedure. Using Jamovi 2.6.2 version, I did two different analyses. So for my first research question, I do descriptive analysis, analyzing the mean to see the highest three factor of why students using TikTok in their educational as an educational tool. And then for my second research question, I achieve it by doing a descriptive analysis by analyzing the mean to see the mean to see the perception of trainee teachers towards TikTok as an educational tool. And the last one, I do independent t-test which fall under inferential analysis that shows the differences between two genders, male and female, based on the perception of TikTok as an educational tool. And then this is the mean interpretation scale that I used as cited in Mahayudin Ishaq and Zaharuddin in 2024. Next. So this is the demographic data that I've collected. I collected within the frequencies of gender and also frequencies, numbers of hours spent using TikTok daily. Okay, next. So the data finding and discussion for RQ1, research question 1. What are three main factors of why teacher trainees use TikTok as an educational tool? So I employed 10 questions for this section. So these are the three main factors looking at the highest number of mean. The first one is the TikTok is easy to use. Looking at the it is aligned with Yao 2021 and also Halim 2022. That says that ease of use is really important for us when we want to integrate some technologies in our education or in our daily life even. And then the second highest factors would be the TikTok promotes knowledgeable sharing among users. As we can see, TikTok have the features of sharing link to another application. Whether you are from WhatsApp, you can send the TikTok content through any platform that you want. And then it is actually same with the findings of Al-Maruf in 2021 and also Young and Zilberg in 2020, stating that TikTok actually adapt the knowledgeable sharing features and it makes the people want to use the TikTok application. And then the last factor, the last main factor is the TikTok promotes useful features, which includes the example that I put in my instrument, short form, video creation, duet features, teaching videos, and also sharing videos. So it is actually correlated with the with the theory that I told you before, the useful features, the perceive of usefulness in the theory acceptance model, technological acceptance model, and it is agreed with the research of Tan 2022 and also Mujuna 2020, 2022. So for data finding of RQ2, my RQ2 is what is the perception of TikTok as an educational tool towards academic performance among TESOL teacher trainees in IPG KDRI. So after analyzing the data using Jamovi, descriptive analysis, I search for the mean and the mean is 4.32, which is if according to Mahayudin 2024, it stated that if the mean is higher than 3.68 8, it means like the mean is high, and then it brings to the positive or good perception of something. For in this case, using TikTok as an educational tool. So trainee teachers held positive perception of using TikTok as an educational tool towards academic performance. Next. So for the discussion of RQ2, I used the different section, which is the perceived attitude of using TikTok, with the mean of 4.31, and also perceived effectiveness of using TikTok. So you can see the mean is 4.31 and also 4.34, which is higher, means it brings the positive perception among the TESOL teacher trainees in IPG KDRI of using TikTok in education as an education tool. Next. So the discussion of RQ2, what is this? Okay, so this is the questionnaire from section C, which is I believe that learning through utilization of TikTok improves my speaking skills. Actually, I put 4 skills in the questionnaire: speaking, reading, writing, and also listening. But the most voted one is the speaking skills, because we know the TikToks encourage us to speak more in content creating. So so in the speaking skills, from these 2 research, we can see that Kamaria is encouraged to use TikTok to enhance our pronunciation. However, Simium agreed that TikTok can help us in fluency, accuracy, and fluency. That helps in speaking skills. And then the second one is I take TikTok content as a primary source to start learning something new, which is this is the most lowest one, which is they doesn't really agree, because Lan said as a teenager, they are keen enough to know that there are fake news spread it everywhere, especially in TikTok. So the respondent doesn't really agree that they take the TikTok as their primary source to start learning something new, as it might spread any fake news inside the application. Next. So this is the data finding of RQ3, where we can see the P value, which is when P is higher than 0.05, it brings that no significant difference, as cited in Kim, John, and Osin in 2022. So we can see when the mean is higher than 0.5, it brings no significant difference. So we can come to conclusion, as stated by Kurowski, that there is no significant differences in gender. However, taking the same title, one researcher, which is Ogundele, in 2024 declares that gap of significant differences between gender exists in using social media towards an educational tools. Next. So this is based on my questionnaire. Every instrument is in the P value above from 5. But one is C1, it shows like a gap. So despite having one significant difference of question, we have to conclude that the null hypothesis is accepted based on the overall mean of the P value. Next. So for the conclusion, I can say that RO1, which is the 3 factors, can be seen as ease of use, knowledgeable sharing, and also useful features. For RO2, it is seen that it can be seen that they have positive perception towards using TikTok as an educational tool, as it improves speaking skills and also awareness of knowledge in educational field. And RO3, no significant differences between genders detected of the perception between male and female teacher trainees. Next. So the implication can be seen through 3 perspectives. The first one is the perspective from administrator of IPGM, that they should encourage or embed technology integration of curriculum development in the curriculum. And then from the lecturers of IPG, the lecturers may enhance students' assessment and feedback practice, for example, doing tutorials or even making exercises via technological platforms such as TikTok. And the last one is from teacher trainees' point of view, which is to prioritize collaboration and networking in technology adaptation, which means when they come to school for practicum or even in IPG, they have to use TikTok as a way to learn, not only focusing on traditional method like books. So the recommendation would be to use a larger sample size, investigating additional variable, and also implementation of mixed method, which is the qualitative and also quantitative at once to get deeper result. Okay. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ainul, for your wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to invite the panels for the Q&A session.
Thank you. Hello, Rabia. Okay, congratulations. You have finished your presentation. Okay, the same question that I asked Rahim. How did you do your pilot study?
I do my pilot study for taking the population of 21 individuals from PISMP 2021-2027, and I use the reliability test on Jamovi, and the score is 0.996, which is a high score, because it stated that when the high is above 0.9, it is considered a good. The questionnaire have good reliability. So I use the almost same background of the respondent, which is also the TESOL trainee teachers, but from different batch.
How did you determine the number?
I determine the number based on I have seen the few numbers of research stating that what number should I get from my pilot study. So based on my reading, I see few perspective of numbers that I should take to do my pilot study. The research that I found stating that it should be 3, but it also depending on the skill that we take for the population. For example, now I take 52 for my respondents, actual respondents. So the respondent for pilot study might be quarter from my actual respondent, which is the 1/4 from 52. So I use 21.
A quarter.
Yeah.
It's almost half. 21/52 is almost half.
I think doesn't make sense that when we use more people in our pilot test, it will adding more reliability because more people are testing on our instrument.
You have to base on evidence. You cannot say you think. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. But I have. Okay. First, I want to comment on your grammar. Yeah. First, the title. You don't say perceptions of TikTok. Perceptions of people.
No.
Perceptions of people on something. Okay, so perceptions of TESOL trainee teachers on the use of TikTok in improving their academic performance. It changed the whole title.
I want to ask, the title is improving academic performance, but from my data, I didn't really incorporate the numbers to show the improvement. Should it just be like the perception of TikTok as an educational tool, or need to I further like in improving?
You have to align it with your findings. Yeah. Well, but the biggest thing is you don't say perceptions of something, perceptions of people. Okay? And I made some notes here as well. I'll give this to you later. But maybe Madam Noliza has a question for you.
Okay, Arnold, for your research question 1, okay, what are the 3 main factors? So how many questions that you have in your
For the section? For the RQ1, 10. 10.
And
The
Have it here.
not here. Another.
Okay, so the most answered was
The three.
was the three
Yeah.
lah.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all. Thank you.
But I think you need to see your supervisor and
Okay.
discuss it.
All right.
Last but not least, we have Aisyah Shakira binti Rani, who will present her research on investigating perceived challenge in learning English speaking skills among PISMP 21-25 history teacher trainees.
Okay.
Let's give a warm welcome to Aisyah Shakira.
Here is my slide and the form. Boleh full screen ke? Tak boleh okay. Can I start? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to our beloved panels, Dr. Haja Zainab and Madam Nadiza, and all the audiences in this language lab 1. My name is Aisyah Shakira binti Rani, and I'm from TESOL 1 from PISMP June 21-25 TESOL course. For this research, my supervisor is Dr. Safia binti Abdul Rahim, and today I will be presenting my research entitled Investigating Perceived Challenges in Learning English Speaking Skills among PISMP 21-25 history teacher trainees. Before we delve deeper, let us take a look at the key component of this title, whereby investigating refers to the studying something in depth, while the term perceived challenges here refer to how the teacher trainees personally feel and experience challenges when they are learning to speak English. And learning English speaking skills refer to the process of developing the ability to speak English fluently and proficiently. And the term PISMP 21-25 history teacher trainees refer to a group of future educators located in IPG KDRI that major in history course. Next. So let's go into the background of study, whereby in Malaysia, we have 27 institutes of teacher education or IPG, whereby IPG serve as a center to ensuring that our educational system is staffed with competent and skilled teacher that has fluent and proficient English speaking skills. And every IPG offers several majors such as Bahasa Melayu, Bahasa English, TESOL, Mathematics, Science, and so on, whereby in this study, my focus is on the history majors, where it involves the history teacher trainees in IPG KDRI from the cohort 2021-2025 intake. The importance of English language learning is recognized in our educational policy, whereby in IPG itself, it was integrated into non-TESOL training programs, whereby those teacher trainees who are not specialized or major in TESOL are required to complete the courses such as GEC 1033 English for Communication and the course MPU 3022 English Language Proficiency. And this highlights how IPG wanted to produce future educators that have the excellent communication skills and fluency in English speaking skills. And in this globalized world, English also acts as a global connector, Aset Kurniawan 2024, whereby the global connector here refer to bridge the gap between the culture and collaboration, whereby if the future educators have fluent and proficient in English, they are able to collab with both local and global teachers to share ideas and improve their teaching pedagogies and teaching approaches. As for the cultural, they are able to understand the background of the students that came from a diverse background, like the languages and their culture, as they are able to interact with their students because they are fluent in speaking skills in English. And ASET RAW 2018, it is also teachers' role in fostering engagement, because by having good communication skills, it is one of the key whereby, as what I have mentioned before, it is very important for future educators or teacher trainees to be fluent and proficient in English speaking skills because they need to engage effectively with the diverse student population. And this is supported by Huang et al. 2023, whereby it is essential for educator success as well as the teacher to be fluent and proficient in English speaking skills. And according to Saud 2023 and Wang et al. 2023, the issue of low proficiency of speaking skills among the teacher trainee will able to affect the student engagement and academic achievement. Therefore, this issue must be intervened and must be solved so that we can produce a more competent and skilled teachers that has excellent speaking skills and proficient in English speaking skills. And this is supported by the study by Kashinathan and Azlina 2021 that stated there are significant issues in improving speaking abilities whereby a significant number of ESL learners, including the teacher trainees, reported that they are having difficulty in speaking skills due to various reasons. And the factors that may contribute to the low proficiency among the teacher trainees are anxiety and low self-esteem, assert Numanshaw 2018, whereby the anxiety and low self-esteem is caused by the peer comparison in the classroom, where they feel demotivated when they are talking English with their more fluent peers. Another factor is the impact of the social environment, according to Hartati 2023, whereby it is important for teachers to implement a supportive learning environment in the classroom so that the teacher trainee will feel motivated and supported to practice speaking English in the classroom. Next. So these are my research objectives and research questions, both align with each other, where number one is to explore the most perceived challenges PISMP 2125 history trainee teachers face in learning English speaking skills. And the second one is to investigate the differences in perceived challenges in learning English speaking skills between the male and female of history trainee teachers. Next. And this study utilized the null hypothesis, where there is no difference in perceived challenges in learning English speaking skills between male and female among the history trainee teachers. Next. This is the conceptual framework used by this study, whereby it is to measure the relationship between the key variables in this study, where the independent variable is the perceived challenges and the dependent variables is the learning English speaking skills. This conceptual framework suggests that perceived challenges such as anxiety or insufficient vocabulary and lack of support and lack of teaching approaches in the classroom may impact learning English speaking skills among the teacher trainees. Next. So in this study, I implement two theories. Number one is the communicative language teaching approach theory proposed by Del Hymes 1972 and Michael Halliday 1975. And another one is the effective filter hypothesis proposed by Stephen Krashen 1982. Communicative language teaching, or we know it as CLT, proposed that a key to language acquisition is by incorporating communication and interaction in the classroom, where rather than just memorizing grammar rules, the learners are encouraged to practice the language or English in real life situation and through the practices or activities in the classroom, such as role plays or group discussions or peer reviews. As for the second theory, which is effective filter hypothesis, it suggests that negative emotions such as anxiety, low self-esteem, and low motivation affect the language acquisition of a learner, whereby this theory suggests that the teacher should come up with a supportive learning environment so that the student will feel more support and will feel motivated to learn English. And this is supported by the previous study by Hartati 2023 as well. Next. The research significance of this study is the findings of this study will help the trainee teachers to come up with a more self-directed learning strategies to cater the specific challenges they encounter. As for the lecturers in IPG, the findings of this study will help them to assist the trainees by coming up with a more specific teaching approaches. And for the IPG Malaysia, it will help the administrators of IPG Malaysia to come up to enhance the curriculum design and came up with a more holistic training programs. Moving on to our related past research, these 3 past research are conducted on non-Thessalian students in terms of the challenges they face in learning to speak English. The first study is by Muklash Abrar et al. 2018, where the study is conducted on the student teacher in a private university in Jambi, Indonesia, whereby the findings highlight 3 main barriers, which are language barriers, psychological barriers, and classroom environment. Language barriers such as grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary are one of the challenges faced by the student teacher in the university. And the psychological factors such as anxiety and low self-esteem are also impact also further complicates their learning to speak English. And another one is the classroom environment, where the study findings suggest that supportive classroom environment affect the learner's ability to speak English, as they feel motivated and supported by their supportive lecturers and peers. Moving on to the second study by Aisha Ganesh Ratnasari 2020. This study is conducted on the AFL students in mechanical engineering, where the findings of this study suggest identify the obstacles faced by them, which are grammar, vocabulary, and anxiety, and it emphasized the strategies to overcome these challenges. And lastly is the study by Yahya et al. 2021, which is my main reference for this study, where this study is conducted on the ESL Learners Challenges in Malaysian University on the health science students, where the findings of this study by Yahya identified the issues such as language transfer, where the student encounter first language interference when they are trying to speak English, and also anxiety and social pressures. And it also highlights that learner concerns like vocabulary and pronunciation. And based on these 3 past research, we could see that it significantly and consistently identified the same issues, which is language barriers such as grammar, vocab, pronunciation, grammar, vocab, and also vocabulary and pronunciation. Therefore, this existing literature support my research, which aims to identify the challenges faced by the training teachers in the context of IPG, whereby conducting the same research in the context of IPG is valuable because we are able to come up with a more effective training programs to encounter these challenges. Next. So this study employ quantitative approach, whereby the data collected will be run through descriptive and inferential analysis to answer RQ1 and RQ2, and it used the survey design by distributing questionnaire to the respondent. Okay, as for the population and sample, the population for this study is for PISMP 2125 History Teacher Trainees at IPG Campus Datuk Razali Ismail, that consists of 60 trainees. Unfortunately, since this study used the total population approach, whereby all of the trainees is included to participate in this study, there are no sampling method applied. This approach, according to Bandari, avoids sampling bias and provides a more comprehensive view of the difficulties encountered by the entire population. Next. For the research instrument, it is adapted from the past research Yahya et al. 2023, whereby the instrument has 3 sections. Section A is the learner perception, Section B is for the anxiety and social problem, and Section C is learning related problem. The number of items in the original study is 30 items, whereby after having discussion with my supervisor and also get the recommendation from JPPI and the expert, the finalized item I have is 39 items. And for the format to calculate the responses, I use the 7 Likert scale, whereby by using the 7 Likert scale, it will help me to receive more nuanced feedback from the respondent, as the respondent are able to express their view more clearly by being able to choose 7 options. Strongly agree, whether they are strongly agree or slightly agree, neutral, or vice versa on each statement. moving on, is the pilot study, whereby for the pilot study to evaluate the reliability of the instrument, I conducted the pilot study on 12 PISMP 2125 teacher trainees from Bahasa Melayu course. According to In Junyong 2017, 12 participants for pilot study is adequate to evaluate the reliability of the instrument for pilot study. And the reliability for the original study is 0.915. After conducted the pilot study, the reliability of the instrument is 0.933. According to table 2018, a Cronbach alpha value of 0.7 or higher is typically considered good for internal consistency. Since the pilot study reliability shows 0.933, it means that the instrument is able to measure the intended information, which in this case is the challenges faced by the teacher trainees. Next. This is the data collection procedures, whereby I firstly contacted a representative from each unit and then distributed the questionnaire via Google Forms, and the data collection process from the respondent took about almost 1 week. Next. After I had collected all the data from the 60 respondents, I utilized Jamovi software for the analysis, where to answer the research question number 1, the data run through the descriptive analysis by summarizing and interpreting the mean score, and the standard deviation and others. As for the RQ2, to identify whether there is significant differences between male and female, I run through the inferential analysis. Next. So moving on to the data findings on discussion on research question 1, what are the most perceived challenges that the history teacher trainees encounter in learning English speaking skills? Out of the 3 sections, section construct C has the highest mean score, 3.80, which means that the learning related problem is the most perceived challenges faced by the teacher trainees. Therefore, the problems such as insufficient vocabulary, limited teaching approaches, and lack of support are the example of the teacher trainees faced during their learning to speak English. And this finding aligns with Lloyd et al. 2020, which emphasized the importance of improving the pedagogical approaches and practices in the classroom. And the finding of this RQ1 relates with the theory before, whereby for the question, it supports that to overcome the issue of lack of support, we should come up with a more supportive learning environment. As for the CLT theory, we should implement the theory to overcome the issue of insufficient vocabulary and limited teaching approach by having more interaction and communication activities in the classroom, such as role plays, peer discussion, and so on. Moving on for the research question number 2, is there any difference in perceived challenges between the male and female history teacher trainees? In the table, we could see the T value and the degree of freedom and the P value, whereby the P value is 0.057, where according to Kim 2023, if the P value is greater than the conventional significance level of 0.05, it means that we do not reject the null hypothesis before, which it means that there is no significant difference in perceived challenges between the male and female trainees. And the findings stated that no statistically significant differences suggest that the challenges faced by the teacher trainees are largely universal. Therefore, the conclusion from the RQ2, instead of we focuses on the gender-specific intervention, we should focus on inclusive teaching strategies that cater to all trainees' needs, regardless of the gender, to overcome the challenges they face. Next. The conclusion on research objective 1 is they have the issue of vocabulary, lack of support, and lack of teaching approaches in the classroom. For the research objective 2, there is no differences in perceived challenges between the male and female, which supports that we need to focus on the overall and inclusive teaching approaches in the classroom. Next, for the implications, for students, since they already know what the challenges they face, they can focus on the anxiety reduction and engage in low-stake practices and involve in more diverse reading resources to improve their vocabulary, and this is supported by Sidorenko et al. 2019. And for lecturers, they should foster a supportive environment and implement speaking activities and use digital tools in lesson, as supported by Fitriani et al. 2020 and according to the theories before. Next, for the recommendation and suggestions for the future research, I suggest that they encourage the participant to keep a track of their progress in learning to speak English by encouraging them to have the reflective practices and use language learning journals. As for the methodology, since I use the quantitative, it would be great if the future research employ the qualitative method with surveys and adopt mixed methods approach for a more in-depth information. As for the theory, is to investigate the social cultural factors and cognitive processes by applying theories for culturally responsive pedagogy. Next. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aisha, for the wonderful presentation. Now I would like to invite the panels for the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, my question is, why history teachers? Why do you choose history teachers rather than use different? I mean,
Like
all
the whole
population?
cohort. Thank you for the question, Doctor. There is one reason why I choose only history due to logistic reasons, where due to time constraint and it is more manageable to access to the history teacher trainees. And even though I only focus on history teacher trainees, the findings of this study still have the valuable insight that we could use for the future education. Yeah. So due to logistic reasons, basically.
But the results could be different if you use different units.
So
Do you agree?
I think I agree, and the factors may be because of the motivational factors by individuals, right? Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Aisha. In your recommendations for theory, you did mention that investigate socio-cultural factors and cognitive process. Okay. So in your research research objective 1, social comparison. Okay.
Objective one, social comparison.
Okay, social comparison. Why don't you just add in the socio-cultural with the social? More specific findings, whether the social culture will affect or not challenges faced by the study. Did I answer your question? unit social comparison analysis anxiety. Yes. Social cultural relates with the social comparison or the this is my opinion. I think social culture may affect the challenges faced by teacher trainees due to the different background the learners have. For example, if they come from a family background that has no lack of interaction in English at home, for example, they think their ability to speak English may be lower than those who their social cultural background use English as the main language in their daily life. For sure. Yes, about okay, thank you. This concludes our topic here. Thank you to all our presenters in Language Lab 1. Now we will give some time to the panelists to choose the best presenter of the day.
Where do we put this?
I don't know. The committee
We should do that. But maybe
Thank you to all our presenters and special thank you to our examiners, Dr. Hajar Zainab binti Abdul Rahman and Madam Nurita binti Abdul Razak. Before concluding today's presentation session, the English department has prepared an award for the best presenter. With that, we invite Assessor 1 accompanied by Assessor 2 to present this award to the winner. So, as of today, November 11th, it is my pleasure to invite Aisyah Shakira binti Rabi.
Okay lah, my girl knows. Tunjuk lah tangan.
Thank you to Dr. Zainab, Madam Nurita, and the presenter. This brings us to the end of our seminar sessions for today and for the 2024 PISMP TESOL Education Research Seminar. Thank you to all of our presenters for their hard work, dedication, and insightful research presentation. A special thank you to our esteemed panel of examiners for their guidance and invaluable feedback. We hope that today's presentation have inspired new ideas and sparked interest in furthering education research. Thank you all once again and have a wonderful day.